Welcome to Badass Breakthrough. My name is Bridget Bennett. I am your host. I am a high conflict custody and divorce coach, fellow survivor of domestic abuse, and I am here to help you on your way. This show is for those who have found their way navigating co-parenting with a high conflict or narcissistic person, battling it out in family court, feeling like that journey is never going to end, maybe discovering that they are a product of a narcissistic family, and overall for those that are trying to rebuild their life after enduring abuse, whether it was through a relationship or marriage. You're in the right place. This show is for you. So let's get started on this journey together. First and foremost, I want to recognize all of your wonderful efforts of participating, being engaging, responding to prompts in the community, and supporting one another. You'll often see that in the comments, I am asking, or in the prompts that I'm posting, I'm asking for others to also give feedback. I think that these things are very helpful because we don't only learn from our own experiences or from someone like me, but I do think that it is extremely beneficial to learn from each other in the community. That is why the community exists. So continue to take full advantage of that, continue to engage and communicate with one another. The questions that you have, drop them in the chats, drop them in the comments, and let's work on finding a solution to situations that you're maybe not sure how to handle. Okay. So I want to, child support seems to be like a hot topic, right? Today and every single day of the week. Child support. And my ex isn't paying child support. My ex isn't supporting me financially. My ex isn't paying alimony. What do I do about it? The first thing you need to know about high conflict narcissistic people are they love money more than they love anything else, right? Money buys them image. Money buys them material things. They can then present the image and the facade, right? All of these things play into their persona. They have a personality disorder. We can't make them suddenly be somebody that they're not, right? They can act that they're going to be somebody different or show up as someone different. Truly, honestly, they are the same disordered person that they always have and always will be. Okay. So, them driving a big, flashy truck, having the newest Apple Watch, the newest iPhone as soon as it comes out, and then going to child support court and saying that they don't have money to pay. What do we do in these situations? So I'm sure you've heard me preach about it before. Please stop spending money to get money. Okay. You're going to find that that does not work. You're going to find that you're spending a lot of money on attorneys to try to get child support in an order that can be enforceable. Child support enforcement, which typically in most areas in the United States is through social services. Okay. So the county, the state handles child support. It is a mathematical formula, it is a calculation. Again, most jurisdictions, my personal experience is based out of the state of North Carolina, but most jurisdictions, it is based off of overnights and how much income each parent has, right? So if you have a parent that's making $200,000 a year, the high conflict parent, and you're making $50,000 a year, well, that information is put into a formula and calculated who is going to have to pay child support, right? The goal of child support is not to punish anybody, despite what your ex might say. It is to help maintain the status quo of the child, right? So they can maintain their same style of life that they had prior to the parents separating or the parents not being together. Now, child support enforcement, what social services does first, it's free. Did I say the word free? It's free. You fill out an application. You can do this in many places online. Then a social worker contacts you. It might take 30 days or so, right? But they're going to contact you. They're going to send paperwork out to the other parent. They're also going to send paperwork out to you to fill out. If you have a court order that indicates that they should be paying child support and they're not, child support enforcement will take that order and they will enforce it. They will implement it. They will enforce it. So they can garnish wages. They can bring them to court, call them to court over and over again because of their failure to pay. This is a good thing. Why? Because you're not chasing your ex, you're not hounding them down for child support. You're also not contacting your attorney at every turn asking for them to help you get child support. Stop doing it. All right. The thing that your ex really loves is how you reach out to them for help, right? Because what's happening? You are giving your ex supply. They think, oh my God, look at that. They need me. He or she needs me. I don't need you. But that's what they think in their mind when we're reaching out asking for financial support for the children. Okay. Now, in a lot of places, child support, if they start paying child support, you might see that your ex responds back to you and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for, the extracurricular activity cost, right? Why not? Unless it is specified in your order somewhere, whether it's through child support or through your custody order, extracurriculars need to be split evenly by the parties, which we know that they never are. Don't reach out and ask for them to reimburse you. In this case, right, if it's not written out, they're going to argue that it is a part of child support. That's what their child support payments are for. And unfortunately, if you don't have the language in an order saying that it is to be split between both parties, you're not going to get very far, right? And a judge is more likely to be like, well, he's paying child support. She's paying child support, right? I'm not sure what the problem is. There's not really a violation of anything that I need to worry about. It is unfortunate. I don't say that I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just how it is. A lot of the questions that arise are from financial abuse, the lack of financial support, the lack of child support. They're not paying alimony. They're not paying the mortgage payment. It was ordered, right? All of these things, keep a spreadsheet, track it, track what's not being paid. I was working with a client earlier this week on all the expenses that her ex had not paid, right? That were due. And I'm talking this was since, like, December or something of last year, so it was quite a bit that had been incurred and wasn't being reimbursed, and the order said there was an 8% interest on anything that hadn't been paid, I think, within, like, 30 days. So, she calculates it all, she put everything into our family wizard and was expecting and waiting for payment from dad. She also shared her spreadsheet, which showed the 8% interest. He ended up making a payment. Okay, he paid everything that was due minus the interest, right? So at that point, there's two things that we can do, right? We can focus on the fact that they're not paying interest. They didn't pay with what is in the order. They're not complying. But I want you to think about it for a second. Doesn't it sound and feel petty if you were to go, especially as a woman, to family court in this patriarchal system and they hear how you're like, well, yeah, he did pay what was owed, the $2,000 or whatever, and it's a couple $100 in interest that he hasn't paid. They're gonna look at you like, "But what's the problem? He paid." There are things that need to be dropped. This is an example of something that you can let go of, and it's gonna be okay, right? So let go of some of those things. And again, this is a real life example of someone that I've been working with to help with a lot of these things that have been like past due, have been building, racking up. The other thing is when you're asking for the reimbursement, let's say you've got, the extracurriculars need to be paid half and half, right? Half for mom, half for dad, and they're simply not paying. All right. You can do two things. You can pay for everything yourself, right? And request the reimbursement. You can see if maybe, that summer camp would split the cost half and half. Half of you, half him. Most places are going to say no. We all know this, right? But you can ask. And I want you to keep track of when these things were requested and when the money or lack of money has come through. Okay. The other thing is with child support enforcement, right? So you've got everything, you got your, maybe you don't have anything in order regarding child support. So you go to child support enforcement, they're going to help you. You'll have to go to court one point or another. Now, I've had a conversation with a social worker who does this, who works with child support enforcement. And you know what she said to me? That unfortunately, the system is not made for those parents who are trying to dodge their financial responsibility. There's really nothing in the system that can hold them accountable. Now, uh, they have ways, right? Child support enforcement in the county, what they can do, and I hope you don't hear of my wash machine in the background, but what they can do is they can threaten them with jail time. They can take them before a judge for contempt of court and say, hey, this hasn't been paid. The judge is going to order a purge payment. Purge payments can vary. Purge payments can be anywhere from, $100, couple $100 to $1,000. I rarely see purge payments more than that at one time. So maybe there's a lump sum of a purge payment that needs to be done. And, we've requested that, or the judge indicates that it's $5,000 that need to be paid. They're going to likely order your deadbeat ex to pay at a rate of $1,000 a month towards the arrears. Failure to pay would result in jail time. Okay. Now, are we ever going to see the total amount of any lump sum in arrears? I've not seen it in my lifetime, ever. Not in my own case, not in anyone else's case. And there are so many people that really still believe that they can hold their ex accountable in child support court. Okay. Or even in custody court. You cannot hold your ex accountable. Okay. They're still not going to take accountability. You can have a judge recognize things. Child support is one of the things that, in time as we learn to let go of, and we give that responsibility to someone else, like child support enforcement and a social worker to handle and to be on top of, not us, we are taking away power from our ex. We are bringing back, giving ourselves that power back. Okay. We want to give ourselves power back and take away supply from them, right? Remember what I said at the beginning. Your ex is hoping that you're going to reach out and you're going to need something from them. You're going to want something from them. They fucking love it. And the reason they do is because it's like a high for them. Oh, look at me. I'm important. Oh, look at me. No. The more that you can empower yourself, the more that you can find solutions for everyday problems with your child without reaching out to your ex about it. Like, we can share the information. We're not going to expect them to resolve the problems. The more powerful you become over them and unstoppable. Someone who is resolving problems like this on their own, seriously, what does your ex have that they can use against you? Right? We all have gotten those messages where they're threatening. Oh, I'm not going to allow the child to call you unless you drop the child support. Okay, cool. They just put something in writing, right? You've also had those conversations before at the beginning of, like, hey, can we just keep this out of court? Like, I'm going to pay you $500 a month for the kids. They're not going to ever need anything. I seriously remember this. I'm going to share with you a story because, I'm full of them. And every once in a while, when I start talking about things, things come to my memory. So Max and I, after we separated, we he told me to come and eat with him to have lunch, and his sister was going to be there to help, like, I guess, mitigate things, whatever that meant, right? So I went to have lunch, sat down. He had a piece of paper, and I was definitely ganged up against. But I digress. He said, I'm willing to pay, I think it was $400 a month for the kids, two boys, and anything that you ever need for them, just let me know. Like, if you want me to help you get a car again in the future, I can help you, or get a house, I can help you. If you're going to open a business, I can help you, right? He wanted to make me feel like he was really going to help me. Well, I didn't buy it. I was also still hung up on the fact that weeks prior, he and I had already met and talked about these issues, and he had promised me that he was already going to start to implement certain things, and he hadn't, right? So I was reaching back out. Did my ex follow through with anything he said or promised me? No. Did his sister help hold him accountable? No. Did his family hold him accountable? No. Has child support enforcement been after his ass? Yes. And I have nothing to do with it. I let go and I gave it to them. And I know that we desperately want to hold these people accountable. And I think there's a lot of power in that, right? But also, at what cost? Does it cost you your peace? How much time and energy of yours are you putting into it? What is the likelihood of them being held accountable? Think about it, right? Now, I mean, it, it, I think it's a personal choice, but for me, learning how to let go and to stop asking for things that I knew were not coming my way was bold. It was a power move on my part. Your ex has the money, right? So when they play their victim sob story and, you know, child support court of how they're unemployed, they don't have money. My ex sings this tune that he is unemployed and is not able to have money and it's all my fault. I have not had contact with the man in years. I knew nothing about his life, nor care to. And to this day, he still blames me because he fails to pay child support, right? So you'll see how everything that they do in their life, no matter what they're doing, it's always going to come back to you and you're going to be the person to blame. High conflict individuals need a target of blame. This is something that Bill Eddy talks about in a book that he wrote, The Five Types of People That Can Ruin Your Life, right? They need a target of blame, and the target of blame can change over time, right? So it might be at one point might remember I was in the relationship with them and they were constantly accusing me of or they were blaming their mom for their shortcomings. They were blaming their mother for X, Y, and Z. Well, what they were doing is trying to triangulate you, right? And then afterwards, what happened? They go to their mama and they start bitching to their mom, and suddenly you're to blame for everything. Sounds familiar? Part of this journey is learning to let go of the things that are out of our control. I don't believe that it's fair. I know, in fact, that is extremely unfair. But I'm going to tell you what happened when I learned to let go. My kids' lives improved. I was a better version of myself. I was able to put that focus onto me instead of my ex. And because I learned to let go of the things that I cannot control, I've changed my life. I've changed my life. I can't control whether or not he pays his child support. I know he has companies. He puts them in his sister's name, right? Like that's first of all, we all know that they're getting paid under the table and they're doing some shady shit. Let them. You can share the information with the social worker when they reach out to you. Heck, years ago, all the information the social worker needed, I gave to them on a silver platter. I'm like, here. So he actually has this business. Here's the whole line. This is when he created it. And then there was a transition here. It's all public record. As a paralegal, I know how to search for this, right? And then there was a transition here, and see, it was put into his mom's name. See, it was put into his sister's name, but it still is business. So I don't care what he's telling you about being unemployed, the business is still his. Just because he changes the registered agent, right, doesn't mean that the business is not his. As a business owner, I know this, right? Like I could change the registered agent of my business. I could change the owner of my business. I could name someone else as president of my business, CEO of my business versus myself, but it doesn't mean that the business is not mine, right? I want you to know that your ex has the money. We all know this. They are punishing you. They are punishing you and they want to withhold the money and the support for the child because it's a way of punishing and hurting you. Again, go back to what I said at the beginning. Your ex loves money more than they love their own children. So, are they really going to support the child in the ways that they should? No, because they know it's going to stress you out. It's going to make your life difficult. And that's your punishment for leaving. A lot of self aware narcissists talk about how when you see them for who they are and you leave, they you have a mark on your back, right? They kind of want to go after you. And they will try tirelessly to make your life a living hell. The less reaction you give, the less fucks that you give, the better. Finding a way. I mean, I worked 2, 3 jobs at one point just so I could put food on the table for my kids. I found a way. I remember when I had, like, maybe I think $100 for the week for groceries for a family of 5. Neither of my ex-husbands were paying child support. What did I do? I figured it out. I got really creative with my meals. I made a lunch for myself and my kids every single day. They got a free or reduced lunch at school. I have no shame in that. No shame in that part of my story at all. It's not my fault that their parent is not paying for them, but I'm doing all that I can to make sure that their needs are met. Your job is to make sure that you do all that you can on your end to meet your child's needs, regardless of what your ex is or isn't doing, how they may or may not be contributing. If they're buying all these new things, let them. If they're refusing to not reimburse for the extracurriculars, let them. Document it, total it up. How much is owed? Take action after a lot of things have been, you know, gotten behind for not paying child support. Go to child support enforcement. Give them that order. You don't have an order. They said they were going to pay. Go to child support enforcement. That's the answer. Do not pay money to get money. Not in this case. Investing in yourself is a different thing. I also want to caution you that nothing is easy in this life, right? Like, I've learned that lesson. We all see on social media the individuals that are like, oh my God, I made $30,000 this week. And I will tell you the secret's how. Okay. I made this amount of money this week. Now, yes, there are people that make lots of money online, but do not fall for a quick fix. They prey off of people that are vulnerable and desperate. There is no quick fix. My business I've built for the past 5 years, right? So it's like every day, the things that we invest in ourselves over time has a payoff, but it's investment in your education, investment in you, taking a risk on yourself, sometimes betting against yourself, learning new things. I'm constantly working and evolving and learning new things so that I can give you the best always. I want you to look at this as an opportunity for yourself as well to give yourself the best always. Give yourself the best always, the best opportunity that you possibly can. Give yourself patience and grace because I know that you are doing all of the hard work. I know that it feels like no one else sees it, but I do. So, if your ex is a douche and is refusing to support your children, welcome to the club. I want you to know, first of all, you're not alone, right? But also, it's not the end. I still to this day do not know how I raised and supported 4 children on my own with one income. I don't know. And no child support. I just figured it out, right? Did I go back to child support court with child support enforcement? Yes, I did. And then I got to the point of like, this dude is just gonna like have me going down rabbit holes trying to search and where is he working and how much money could he be having and all these things, right? It was really not worth my time or my energy. So I stopped giving it my time, my energy, and my attention, and I let someone else handle it. I encourage you to do the same. Keep going. Please know that you are smarter than you think, braver than you know, and you can do really what it feels like it's complicated and difficult things, whether it's through, managing child support, going to court. You don't have the money for an attorney. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's okay because you're smart and you can figure it out. It's research. It's spending late nights up, doing the work, writing and rewriting, reading, watching lots of videos, listening to podcasts, showing up here in the community, listening to these trainings, educating yourself in ways that matter. Knowledge is power. And at the end of the day, it always wins. I'll see you all again next week. Have an amazing rest of your week. I love you. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure you share it with someone who needs it. You can find me on all platforms as Coach Bridget B or at my website, breakingbadasscoaching.com. If you are ready to work more with me in a session, check out some of my guides, learn how to master your documentation, or join my exclusive community, you can do that through the link that'll be in the show notes. I want you to remember, you have survived this far. You've made it through this episode, and you continue to show up. You're going to continue to survive, and I will see you in the next episode.